Someone disrespects you. Maybe it's a coworker who talks over you in front of everyone. Maybe it's a woman who suddenly loses interest. Maybe it's someone online who says something designed to get under your skin. And before you even realize it, you're reacting. You explain yourself. You defend your reputation. You replay the conversation later, thinking about what you should have said. You tell yourself you don't care. But if someone else can change your mood, your decisions, or your behavior with a few words, they have more control over you than you think. And this is where the Stoic man becomes different, because he doesn't try to control everyone around him. He does something far more difficult. He becomes difficult to control, not because he's intimidating, not because he's emotionless, and not because he stops caring about people. He becomes difficult to control because he stops making other people's behavior the author of his own. And that changes everything. The first thing you have to understand is that not every problem happening around you is your problem to solve. Epictetus built much of Stoic practice around this distinction. Some things belong to your agency, your judgments, your choices, your actions. Other things don't. Someone's opinion of you doesn't. Their reaction doesn't. Whether they respect you doesn't. Whether they reject you doesn't. But here's where most men make the mistake. They say they understand this, then spend the entire day trying to control what other people think. Someone criticizes them, and they immediately defend themselves. Someone ignores them, and they start wondering why. Someone succeeds, and suddenly they question their own progress. Someone insults them, and now their entire evening belongs to a stranger. They think the problem is the other person. It isn't. The deeper problem is dependency. You've allowed an external event to determine an internal response. And once you see that, the question changes. It's no longer, how do I make people treat me differently? It's, why does their behavior have the power to move me this much? This is where purpose enters, because a man without direction has a dangerous amount of attention available for other people's opinions. He wakes up and asks, who noticed me? Who respects me? Who likes me? What do people think? What should I be doing? And because he has no stronger direction, the outside world gives him one. But a directed man has somewhere to put his attention. He has work to do, a body to build, a family to protect, a skill to develop, a responsibility to fulfill, a character to strengthen. That doesn't mean he becomes obsessed with achievement. Stoicism isn't about becoming rich, famous, or dominant. It's about becoming the kind of person who acts according to reason, virtue, and responsibility. And purpose does something most people overlook. It doesn't just tell you what to pursue, it tells you what to ignore. That is power. Because every distraction you refuse is a decision to remain loyal to your direction. And now we reach something that sounds strange. Purpose can make you more charming. Most people think charm comes from saying the right things, having perfect confidence, knowing how to impress people. But watch what happens when a man doesn't desperately need approval. He can actually listen. He can disagree without becoming defensive. He can compliment someone without begging for validation. He can make a joke without needing everyone to laugh. He can walk away from a conversation without wondering whether he was accepted. He can be interested in someone without abandoning himself to keep their attention. That is self-possession. And people notice it, because there's a difference between a man who enjoys your presence and a man who needs your presence. The first is connecting with you. The second is trying to get something from you. And this is why Stoic charm isn't manipulation. It's freedom from desperation. But there's an even deeper level. A Stoic doesn't become powerful by eliminating emotion. He becomes powerful by refusing to let emotion make every decision. You get angry. Fine. The question is, what are you going to do with that anger? You get rejected. Fine. What judgment are you making about yourself because of it? Someone insults you. Fine. Is responding actually necessary? This is the difference between suppression and regulation. Suppression says, I'm angry, but I'll pretend I'm not. Stoic discipline says, I'm angry. Now I need to determine whether my anger is telling me something useful or demanding an action I'll regret. That pause is where your freedom lives. Because a provocation is often an attempted transfer of control. Someone throws emotional chaos at you, and you immediately catch it. They become angry, so you become angry. They become disrespectful, so you become disrespectful. They withdraw, so you chase. They attack your ego, so you start proving yourself. Now ask yourself, who is actually controlling whom? This is why the need to prove your strength can become a weakness. Someone calls you weak. You spend 10 minutes proving you're not. Someone questions your success. You start explaining your achievements. Someone misunderstands you. You desperately need them to understand. But think about what just happened. They made an accusation, and you changed your behavior to answer it. You didn't become stronger. You became responsive. The Stoic approach is different. Listen, evaluate. If there's truth in the criticism, correct yourself. If there isn't, continue. You don't have to defend every version of yourself that exists inside someone else's head. Because if you need everyone to understand you, anyone willing to misunderstand you has leverage over you. That's why Marcus Aurelius repeatedly brought his attention back to his own conduct. Not the crowd, not reputation, not winning every social battle. Your conduct. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? Is it consistent with the person you're trying to become? That's the standard. But don't misunderstand this. Stoicism does not mean becoming cold. It doesn't mean ignoring your wife because you're focused. It doesn't mean treating friends like distractions. It doesn't mean refusing criticism. And it certainly doesn't mean becoming arrogant because you think you're above everyone. The Stoic virtues prevent that. Wisdom tells you what actually matters. Courage allows you to act despite discomfort. Temperance keeps your impulses under control. Justice reminds you that other people still deserve to be treated properly. Without those virtues, nobody can control me, can become an excuse for selfishness. Real Stoic independence is different. You care about people without surrendering yourself to them. You listen without becoming obedient to every opinion. You love without becoming desperate. You accept criticism without becoming fragile. You can be kind without becoming submissive. You can be firm without becoming cruel. That is self-command. So tomorrow, watch yourself in one situation. Someone annoys you. Don't immediately respond. Pause. Ask 3 questions. Is this actually within my control? What response serves my purpose? What would the person I respect becoming do next? Then act. Not from anger, not from fear, not from the need to prove something, from choice. Because eventually, this changes the way you see yourself. You stop asking, how do I make people respect me? And start asking, am I behaving in a way that deserves my own respect? You stop asking, how do I make them understand me? And start asking, do I understand what I'm supposed to do? You stop asking, how do I make them stop controlling me? And realize the deeper answer. They were never the final source of your control. You were giving it away. And the moment you stop, you become directed, calm, difficult to manipulate. Not because nobody can influence you, but because influence no longer automatically becomes obedience. That is the real danger of a Stoic man. He doesn't need to control the room because he has already learned to control himself.